Hey everybody, this is Roxanne checking in. For those of you who haven't seen my videos, I have multiple sclerosis, and I have had multiple sclerosis for 10 years. And it is an uphill battle no matter how two ways you look at it. But I spend time on these videos talking about my MS, but I more or less try to spend time talking about moments I've had that give me encouragement. And that's what I want to be for people. I don't want to be a downer. I don't want to be a crybaby because my family calls it hanging lip when you're throwing a fit and you have your bottom lip hanging down. But I feel driven to share a story about a fundraiser I did. And in the moments I got to see God move. And like I said, I've done a ton of drugs, as far as not drugs, but like I've done a ton of medications to work on treating my MS. And I try any trial that could work. So I had one, and it was called the CCSVI treatment. And basically, the school of thought is that because your veins are too narrow, or the stenosis in your veins, you are getting a backflow of iron, and it has an adverse effect on multiple sclerosis, if not being the core reason it's showing up in the first place. So I thought about it. I was like, why not, dude? I've already got all this other stuff going on, and I got this treatment that I'm doing, medications I'm doing, and if I can be well, I'm going to do it. I think I have to pause, the TV just turned back on. Anyways, that was unexpected. If it's not that, it's going to be my dogs running back and forth, but I'm not going to cut it. So I threw it out there at God. I said, hey, man, if you're going to do this, let's do it. If you're not, close the doors. And would you believe, it almost started moving immediately. I made a conversation a little bit with, or had a conversation a little bit with Jacob's, my husband's ex-boss, and at the time boss. And she was amazing. Her name's Kathy, probably one of the most extraordinary, caring people I've ever met in my entire life. And I thank God every day I did. And that lady, she was so inspiring and so moving. She's such a fighter. And I told her about it, and she's like, well, let's do it. And I can't tell you, this lady is so plugged in, it's ridiculous. Like, the minute she decided it was going to happen, people just started pouring in and doing these fundraisers and making these moments. And it was a life-changing situation. I'd never seen people move like this. And in these moments, you see how grateful she is, but also how encouraging she is. And she wasn't well on her own. Like, she had her own situations going on. So I wouldn't think she had time to deal with little old me. But I'm telling you, it was crazy. Like, it was like fundraiser after fundraiser, and people were just showing up. And I would say a majority of them, to begin with, were her people. And then my people started rolling in, and it was like, oh my goodness, it was crazy. So we got to a point where we made about 4,000. And we had to come up with almost 15 for the treatment and for the flights back and forth and for food and whatever you can think of. And at that point, we're at 4,000, and we started seeing a lull in fundraising. And at that same time, we were getting some negative input on how the treatment was working on other people, if it had adverse effects. And in talking to Kathy tells me, she's like, I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt you. And I said, I don't want you to do anything that's going to hurt me. And it was so weird because we spent the whole week just thinking about it and throwing it back and forth and deciding if it is too iffy, we could allocate it on something else for the MS. And it was crazy, but we made it through the week, and we weren't sure what we were going to do. But would you believe, come to find out, that very same week, Kathy's amazing older sister was on a flight back from a business trip, And God saw fit to sit her next to a gentleman on his way back from his CCSVI treatment with nothing but amazing, amazing things to say about it. And he told her, he says, hey, this girl is young. You should have her do this. She needs to try it. And he's like, as a matter of fact, I went out, but I went out for me because I have MS, but my daughter has MS as well. And I wanted to make sure it was safe. And I'm telling you, it blew our minds. Just think about the math and the chances of somebody sitting next to the lady who needed to hear it. So the lady that needed to hear it at home would hear it. And so fundraising blew up. We told the story to everybody because it was a fact. It's what happened. God was moving. And it broke my heart in an amazing way, like in a good way. I'm like, oh God, this is so much love. I can't stand it. And I'm telling you, we made another probably $5,000 after that. And it was insane. And there were moments where we weren't sure still. We were kind of thinking, we didn't know. And we'd hear regular crazy input. But we were just going to do it because we'd already raised so much money for it. But then there was this other kind of lull in the fundraising, and we weren't sure if people were still on board or people were going to try and help make stuff happen because I wasn't going to do it on my own. I couldn't. I didn't have the ability. And crazy thing happened. My landlord comes to my house to do some plumbing work. And she's telling me, she's like, would you, my niece just went out to get this treatment. And she was talking about the CCSVI treatment. And I go, what? That's crazy. And she was like, you know what? You should call her because she will tell you some amazing things. And I said, okay, I'm going to call a perfect stranger and like I did before and see what happens. But I did it. It might have taken me a week to build up the guts to do it. So in calling her, she tells me, you know what? I wasn't good. I didn't realize it was something that could work. My dad went out first. And then I went out because, he wanted to make sure it was safe. So the story was sounding very familiar but backwards. And I had called the gentleman. His name was Dale. He was a very nice man. He let me know about his daughter. And it was crazy because I was talking to her. I was like, what's your dad's name? She says, Dale. And I says, Dale so-and-so? And she goes, oh my God. And I say, oh my God, we were talking about the same person. The guy on the airplane was the father of my landlord's niece. Holy Ghost bumps, chills, whatever you want to call it, all over my body. God was moving in every avenue of my life. What are the chances that these two people were going to interact I can't even begin to understand it. But what that meant to everybody else, that this is what the plan was. Roxanne's probably getting healed. She's going to do some cartwheels. Or this is what was going on in my head. Maybe not in everybody else's, but I really wanted to do cartwheels. So we got all the money raised, and I went out, and I got the treatment. And it's the whole school of thought is that, the narrowing of the veins. So they put a balloon in there to try to blow it up a little bit. And then the vein should move, all the iron deposits should go through correctly and it won't be backed up or anything. So I had hot flashes for like a week because obviously I was having some kind of stenosis or narrowing of the veins. And it was crazy because I was prepared. I was like, oh man, I'm doing cartwheels. It's over. Hey, let's go. We're going to go do it right now. Granted, I might have to do it next to an urgent care to start out, but this is happening. And it was funny because in the end of it, it didn't work out as well as it did for those two people. And it took me a minute, a few bottles of wine to come to terms with it. But then I look back and I look at the different people that showed up to this fundraiser. There were people from my high school, people who were, non-believers, believers, people who believed in different belief systems. And that lady who donated, the 2 weeks of hotel stay out in New York because she worked for hotels and and she was Muslim, and she was on board, and it was like everyone in my life was pulling together, and people who weren't in my life were making it happen too. And I don't know how, or no, I don't know the way it was supposed to work, but it sure as heck did. So in the moment, I was having a pity party that I wasn't getting healed, but I got to see God move. There is no doubt in my mind that me and him have a relationship. It's in my gut, it's in my heart, it's in my soul. And it's never what you think it's going to be. It's not your plan. But you always have to have an attitude of gratitude. No, whatever you believe in God, believe in he or she God, or you believe in, the creator, you believe in nothing. It all boils down to love. And that's what I tell people when they ask me, so what do you think about this? And they want to get into these debates about what God is for me or what it is for them. And I just tell them, I know one thing. God is love. And I am going to have an attitude of gratitude for every morning I wake up with air in my lungs, whether you believe in it or not. And I got to see God move. So here we are at the end of this story, but it was amazing, and it was good, and it's so very true. But let's work on our attitude of gratitude. And remember the blessings you get and the blessings that you have an opportunity to give. And don't forget how much love there is to give. Anyways, I want to say thank you, and I hope you guys enjoyed this, and let me know. Please subscribe or give me a comment or share it, whatever it is you people do out in the space world. So anyways, thank you.